This is my intro music. Welcome to the video. I hope you like it lots, so don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up button. Now let's react.
Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome to another episode of An Anthropologist Watches QuirkyLoveRosee. I was just going to call her Rosie there for a minute, but her channel is called QuirkyLoveRosee, and I will quit bumping the camera here in a bit. This desk, I love this desk, but it's about as rickety as they come, so I will do my best not to bump the desk, but pigeons! You can't tell we are outside in the summer office, if one will. So yeah, we've got the summer office set up. I don't know, man. Still, for those of you following the great saga that is me, I am still a little out of it, so sucks to be you, Rosie. Rosie did come back about, what, 2 weeks ago now, according to this video, today being May the 26th. So this was streamed on the 7th of May. I've been... She was kind of hinting that she was going to put out a video, and I've been waiting for that, and I've just kind of not been here mentally. So I've been kind of like, on the one hand, waiting for a full-ass video to react to, and also just not been here. So that's kind of why I was like, oh, Rosie's back, I should react to that, and then haven't gotten around to it. But here we are, you know, better never than late. I did that on purpose. Anyway, I'm funny. Anyhow, so what we're going to do, we are not going to go over every minute of every live that she has put out. I think she's got 6 lives that are out. They're all roughly about 2.5 hours, with the exception of, I think, one is only like an hour. Because not every moment is truly important to the overall arc of the story here. If you are new to the Rosie saga, then let me catch you up. QuirkyLoveRosee is she's actually been on the internet longer than I was aware of at the time. About like a year ago now, Rosie came onto my radar. She's, like I said, she's been on the internet longer than that, but Rosie came onto my radar about a year ago, give or take. And I think it's been longer than that, honestly, because I went back and I checked my archives, and apparently I had done a couple reactions to her content that I think would be about a year and a half old now. You won't find those videos. I pulled them because I did a couple videos where I was actually going, oh my God, Rosie's doing such a great job. Yeah, she's struggling with her health, and yeah, she's struggling with her mental health, but she looks like she's doing the things she needs to do, and she sounds like she's saying the things she needs to say in order to get healthy. I'm learning not to do that, which is why Sal, I'm like, God, please, Sal, don't fuck this up. But anyway, I don't think he's going to. He doesn't sound or act anything like the girls. Anyway, so I had a few videos where I was defending Rosie and I was trying to give her support. And even at the time, in the back of my head, I was like, maybe. But I was hoping that maybe if I gave her support, she wouldn't turn into Amber. And she turned into Amber. If I had done a little bit more digging, I probably would have not done that, honestly. But A, I was new to this. Honestly, I was still new as a reaction channel. And B, Rosie had done a pretty good job of scrubbing a lot of her content as well. It took a little bit of... It took people sending me some links, and it took a little bit of my own digging to find stuff on Rosie. Not that it was like super hidden or anything. It wasn't like Ark of the Covenant kind of shit. It was just a little bit of digging that I didn't know I needed to do. So that was a mea culpa. Like that was me, right? But when I found this out, Rosie also started doing some kind of like what I would consider shady shit behind the scenes, just in general. I don't know how in depth we're going to get into this, but this was around the time that Amber was dating Tommy, aka Emily. Emily's her name? Yeah, Emily. And everybody was freaking out because Emily was a feeder. Is a feeder. Look, that's Emily's thing. I don't care. I really don't care. But it was a thing that went through the community, the reaction community, the girl world community. It's something that we have suspected of more than one of her girlfriends, and now we have a confirmed one. Emily has come out and basically said, yeah, and so it's pretty much confirmed. I don't think Emily cares that we know this. I don't think Emily was particularly like trying to hide it. I think that was an Amber thing more than anything. It's kind of like Amber constantly denying she has diabetes. The diabetes. What kind of bird is that? It's like yellow. One of Rosie's claims to internet fame is that Rosie was part of the, well, I've been saying it already, part of the feeder community offline, and that she used to make that kind of adult content, basically as her means of income, and just that's just what she apparently used to do, and she had come out of that. And I think this is a story that she's been telling for the better part of, I want to say at least 2 years, if not 3 at this point. And she has done several podcast interviews and things like that, talking about her time in, excuse me, in that community, and also her story leaving that community, and just, the trials and tribulations thereof. And because, of course, it's the internet, and the internet does what the internet does, there's been research into this, and people finding things and stories, and this, that, and something else. He said, she said stories, and how I am about those kind of things. Everything with a grain of salt. It's the internet. But there are things that there are more things that contradict Rosie than seem to support Rosie, and when that kind of starts to happen, it could be that Rosie's 100% true. Everything Rosie says is 100% true, and that kind of a thing. But again, there doesn't seem to be a lot of people that come out in Rosie's support, and there do seem to be a lot of people that have reasons to speak out against Rosie. Nobody is particularly nasty when they kind of contradict Rosie's stories. Nobody seems to be particularly like, in my opinion, nobody seems to be particularly like just hateful, or just like egregiously rude, or just mean, or anything like that. They just seem to be like, yeah, that's not how that happened. This isn't how that story went. There's been at least one woman who's pointed out that a lot of the stories Rosie tells are kind of taken from other people and retold from Rosie's POV as if they were Rosie's stories. So I haven't heard anybody just like out and out like attack Rosie. What I've heard people do is just kind of poke holes in Rosie's stories, right? That's all I've really seen when I've seen stuff about Rosie on the internet. So take that how you will. You can dig all you want on your own. It's not hard to find stuff about her, honestly. So, what? Not even 2 months ago? Rosie decided that she had had enough heat from the reaction community, because she caught the attention of the reaction community as a whole, after she tried to buddy up to a bunch of reactors and make friends with a bunch of reactors. And that itself is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of the way she went about doing it. It came off very, honestly, it came off very Pickme. It came off very CYA. A bunch of the reactors who were targets of hers did not appreciate it, myself included. And I'm a very suspicious person. Just FYI, I don't like it when people do that. It's very suspicious to me. It's very suspicious behavior, especially from like random people on the internet. It just doesn't work. I don't like it. So anyway, it didn't work well with me. But I didn't realize she was doing it to like multiple people, like lots, like pretty much everybody. And, you know, then she had a video made of her by Michelle McDaniels. And then for whatever reason, Obese to Beast really like started like white knighting for her. And I don't get it. But he did. And he's made more than one video in support of her, even despite her behavior being incredibly contrary to everything that she says she's trying to do, aka lose weight, get healthy, address her mentals, that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, she's constantly saying, "I'm not like Amberlynn. I'm not like Amberlynn. I'm not like Amberlynn," and then constantly repeats. And I'm not saying she's like trying to act like Amberlynn. I'm saying her behavior is very reminiscent of Amberlynn's behavior, which is ironic because I made a video again basically saying just because she's another large woman on the internet doesn't necessarily mean she is Amberlynn. We shouldn't just immediately compare her to Amberlynn because of that. I, again, should have watched a little bit more because it's not just because she's a giant woman on the internet, it's because her behavior and her mannerisms and her lack of care for her own health, that is what makes her like Amberlynn. So, anyway, trying to keep everything in order here. So, anyway, she caught reactors' attention and the reaction community started reacting because that's what we do. She particularly caught the attention of a reactor, very small reactor, according to Rosie. Rosie really got pissed about this one, called Nerfy. And Nerfy made some really great videos with some very poignant points and arguments and some, I think, decent research into Rosie and just Rosie's behavior, Rosie's arguments, Rosie's past. And I know it really rubbed Rosie the wrong way, and Rosie got extremely pissed about it. And as I always do with Rosie's videos, I will try to remember to link Nerfy's videos down below so you guys can go watch them on your own. I will say I am a lot nicer about this than Nerfy is. Just putting it out there. So if you're expecting to go watch Nerfy's videos and be like, oh, it's going to be another nice, calm video. No. But you'll enjoy it, I promise. Anyway, highly recommend the watch. So like I said, I'll have those linked below for you guys to go watch. And yeah, so anyway, Nerfy started making her videos. Not long after Nerfy started making her videos, I saw other larger reaction channels start making videos. I think Charlie Gold got a hold of Rosie, and that was pretty much the spiral effect. Because around that time, because I was making reactions at that time, I started reacting. But I started reacting, Charlie started reacting. There were a bunch of other people that started reacting as well. Obese to Beast, obviously, Michelle McDaniels, and then other people whose names I can't remember. But the bigger channels started picking up on it, and it was a lot of heat that Rosie just didn't want, because it wasn't the attention Rosie wanted. Rosie wanted to be the darling of the reaction community. She wanted to be, she wanted to be like the source everybody came to for information on the feeder community. She wanted to be praised for her hard work, losing weight and getting healthy, which she wasn't doing either of those two things. And she didn't like the criticism and the calls for accountability that she was getting because she wasn't doing the work that she said she was going to do. And then after Amber and Emily, aka Tommy, broke up for whatever fucking reason, Rosie thought it would be a good idea to publicly reach out to Tommy, aka Emily, on Instagram and send them a public message on one of their posts, on Emily's posts. And I still don't know why that seemed like a good idea in Rosie's head. The only conclusion I can draw, and I don't know why anybody would ever defend Rosie's action here. The only conclusion I can draw is that Rosie was poking at Amber and trying to get a reaction from Amber. And the only reason why I can say that that makes sense is because Rosie has been adamant up to this point, not this point, up to the point we're talking about here in the timeline. Rosie has been adamant up to this point that the feeder community is bad, feeders are evil, Emily is a feeder, aka Emily is icky bad, we shouldn't even be tolerating her. Rosie has up to this point been sending Amber like DMs telling her that Emily's trying to off her. This is going to end badly for Amber. She needs to run away. She has had nothing nice to say about Tommy, aka Emily, up to this point. So why in God's name she reached out in public to Emily with a nice message? Anyway, she got what she wanted. She got a reaction out of Amber, which of course she did. Amber reacts to everything because it's Amber. No one should fucking be surprised that that's what happened. And so after Amber goes off on Rosie and makes some fairly decent points, as Amber is not known for doing, Rosie decides to publish the DMs because that's what everybody does. I don't even know why they're called DMs. And she's like, hee, Amber got mad at me. Hee. Well, like, I think, like, roughly half the community was like, oh my God, Amber's having a meltdown. And I'm like, yeah, Amber's having a meltdown. I mean, that is what happened. But the other half of the community was like, why the fuck are you talking to Tommy? Like, the rest of us were like, okay, yeah, Amber's having a meltdown. No shit. Why the fuck are you talking to Tommy? Why the fuck are you even doing this? Like, what was the point of doing this? Like, why were you inserting yourself into this in the first place? Like, no shit, Amber's having a meltdown. It's what Amber does. This is not surprising to literally anyone. What the fuck are you doing? And after that, I think she just continued. She got put under a microscope even more. She didn't really like the attention she was getting. She had like a super secret Discord going on. Some shit was happening in there. I don't know. I was not part of the Discord. I heard whispers through the grapevine, and I really wasn't following along because I didn't care enough, honestly. And I know there was some drama going on in the Discord. I know Charlie was following that a little better than I was, so I think Charlie might have some better info if you guys go over to Charlie Gold's channel. But I know she has some videos and some breakdowns of what that was all about. But basically there was some drama with Rosie and some of her mods, and I guess she had like a rogue mod that went and like kicked a bunch of people out of the super secret Discord, and it was like a whole thing. Anyway, so between that and just the negative attention Rosie was getting, Rosie decided that she was going to quit the internet. And, you know, I am all for the girls putting their mental health first and their physical health first and being like, you know what, YouTube ain't it, and I should leave. And so, hang on, that's a loud one. So Rosie decides that she's going to leave the internet, and I was like, yeah, go for it. I even made a video saying, gee, I really hope she goes. And I also said, if she's not gone for more than at least 6 months, I'm not going to count this. At least 6 to 9 months, I'm not going to count this as an actual, like, hiatus. Because otherwise it's just a stunt. She's not even gone, like, 2 months. She's barely gone 2 months, and she pops back up. So, according to my own metrics that I made up, this is just a stunt. This whole her being gone thing was just a stunt. She's back. She streamed 2 weeks ago, and I have been watching her lives. I have not been commenting on them because, again, I was hoping she was going to drop an actual video because she said she was going to, but she didn't. It's okay. It's fine. I'm not bitter. We're just going to have to slog through these effing videos. Lucky you. But we are not going to watch all of this. I am going to have sections from the various videos that we are going to talk about because, like I said, not everything from these videos are relevant to the overall arc of the story. Basically, when we left Rosie, she had just finished, she had either just finished or she was on the cusp of finishing training for a job that she had landed that was a work from home job with a call center. Excuse me. And she had a training period that she was wrapping up. Now, again, this is a work from home position. It is an 8-hour day, and she got a very liberal amount of break time for breaks in the morning and the afternoon, and then I think she got like an hour for lunch, which is crazy. Nowhere I worked did I ever get an hour for lunch. That includes when I worked in the field. Shit, we got like okay, anyway. I say that. We technically got like a half hour, but depending on the day and the heat, we're not trying to kill ourselves. Anyway, anyhow, my point is, I'm not trying to say, because I know some of y'all work in call centers, and I understand you got to put up with people, and that right there is a gold fucking star. But as far as like jobs go, she got a pretty decent amount of time during the day as a break. She's also working from home. She literally rolls out of bed and into her office. I don't even think she had a camera on her during the day, so I don't even know if she even had to put on clothes if she wanted to. Like, it's of jobs that you could have, this is probably one of the cushiest that you could do, right? Again, I'm not trying to like belittle people who work in call centers. I'm just trying to point out that this is not like she didn't have to get up at 5 a.m. and put on office clothes and fight her way through an hour's worth of traffic and then clock in at an office for 8 hours where she got a 15-minute break and like a 12-minute lunch and then drive home and all that shit. Like, that, none of that happened. When she clocked out, she was home already. Like, that kind of a thing. The work itself is work. She had to work, and I'm not knocking the work. I'm knocking the amount of effort it took to get to the job and get back from the job. And, when she took a break, she was at home, right? She was in her home. So that's kind of my point. Anyway, so she was doing the training for that. Literally from day one of that training, all she did was bitch about it. Nothing but bitching about it. Just, she hated her trainer. She hated the other people she was training with. They were all stupid. She was the smartest person in the class. She was so bright. She was so clever. She was, her instructor had nothing but nice things to say about her. She was going to be the next, she was on her way to being a manager on like day 2 of her training. But then, I don't know, like day 4 of her training, she was already, the job was already too strenuous for her. She was already in pain from sitting there all day, as opposed to what she normally does, which is sit there all day. Keep in mind, during this time period, she's doing like 4 to 6 hour lives when she's not working, where she sits there all day, cooking food and eating food on camera. Making feeder content. That stuff that she said she wasn't doing anymore. That was the other problem with her. She was like, oh, I'm out of the feeder community. I'm not making feeder content anymore. Beep, beep. I mean, if you're going to start it, you got to finish it. Anyway, but then in her lives, she's making feeder content. And So she's complaining about this job that she's training for. She hasn't even started the job. She's just training for it. And she's complaining about it constantly. She even has a video that she makes where her mom, who is visiting from the Netherlands, yes, I don't know why her parents live in the Netherlands. I don't know. They're Americans. It doesn't matter. But they were visiting, and her mom was in the kitchen for some reason, and Rosie was on break, and Rosie was complaining about the job, and her mom kept trying to explain to her, this is just how jobs are. They're trying to train you. They're trying to find out what kind of employee you're going to be. Her mom is trying to explain to her how reality works, and nothing this job is doing is anything bizarre, right? There's literally nothing this job is doing that anyone who is used to a work environment would be like, wow, that's so weird. Literally nothing. And Rosie's like, oh my God, they're the devil. And her mom's like, yeah, no, they're not though. And there's nothing her mom can say that is getting through to Rosie. And Rosie is already, this is like the first week of training. And Rosie's already talking about basically quitting this job. Like, she hasn't even finished a week's worth of training, and she's already talking about how evil this job is, and it's the worst, and they don't treat her well, and she's gonna quit, and and her mom's really trying very politely to talk her down, and Rosie's just not having it. She's just not having it. And this is a video. This isn't a live. This is a video that Rosie records, edits, and puts up on the internet for everyone to see. And it's just like, dude, this does not make you look good, but whatever. So, all right. So that's where we leave Rosie. She's got this job. She wants the job because it has insurance. She needs the insurance so that she can go and get mental health help, because she wants to get back on, she wants to start seeing a therapist. She wants to get back on some, drugs for mental health. She is currently, at this point, I think she was taking metformin. I think she still is taking metformin. And I think there's a couple other medications she's taking, but I don't know what they are. And honestly, I don't need to know what medications she's on. This is not something I need to know. Like, she doesn't need to share that with the class. The only reason I know she's on metformin is because she's brought it up in the past. So that's literally the only way. I can speculate what I think she's on because I've seen the pills and I know what they look like. And that's literally me speculating, which is exactly why I'm not going to say shit. But that's it. Like, literally, I've never heard her go through a list of things that she's on, and I don't care enough to go dig for that. If she wants to share her list of medications, cool. I'm not one of these people that needs to know. It doesn't matter that much to me. If she wants to be like Amber and open up her freaking medical page and show me the list of medications she's taking, cool. I think that's stupid, but okay. Now I know. But I don't need to know. It's not like she's fucking Anna who's losing weight, claiming she's doing it one way when she's actually taking weight loss drugs. Okay, that's a totally different thing. Anyway, where are we now? All right, so we are here 2 weeks ago. 30 minutes into this. 2 weeks ago, she pops back up. May the 7th, she pops up with, I've missed you guys. This is a 2.5 hour long stream. Rosie pops back up. And I'm like, oh shit, she's back. No fewer than 10 people have notified me at this point when this happens that Rosie is back. Thank you all. I think it's funny. Don't get me wrong. I'm laughing because it's funny that so many people were waiting for this moment to happen that they were like, oh shit, we gotta tell. So I think that's funny. I appreciate the heads up from everybody who sent me the heads up. I really do appreciate it. I also think it's hilarious. So I am well aware that this happened. Rosie is back. And I watched this live because I was actually genuinely interested to know what, if anything, had changed in the 2 months that she was gone. And nothing has changed. Not a goddamn thing has changed. Rosie comes back. She immediately starts bitching about her job. She still has the job, which was my first concern, was if she even still had the job. She immediately starts bitching about the job. She's out of the training period. She's working at it now. She's already trying to find a new job because she hates this one so much. At least she hasn't quit yet. I'm impressed they haven't fired her. So she's still got this one. She's talking about leaving it. She complains a little bit about Gorlwold, about one person in particular. I think she's complaining about Amberlynn. She doesn't bring up any reactors by name. I think she just kind of lumps all reactors in as a whole. It's fine. I would do the same thing too, I suppose. But it's just kind of she's just been holding a stasis for 2 months and just immediately comes back on and just complains about the exact same problems that she was having before she left the internet. It's just her mom is no longer there. She still doesn't have a car. She hates her job. She's looking for a new one. And that's pretty much it. There's no improvement. There's no forward momentum. She looks like she's actually gained quite a bit of weight. It is not great. I mean, it's not particularly bad because I personally feel like nothing has changed, but more than one person has pointed out that she's gained a significant amount of weight, and Rosie's not small at all. So for her to put on weight is not a good sign. But there's not a lot. Since I've already been talking for a half hour, we're probably just going to go over this one because this is the introduction to this, and then the rest of the video, since I've already done like the preamble here, we could go over the rest of the lives in the next video. But this one is just her reintroducing herself to the world, basically saying, oh, I missed everybody, and that kind of a thing. But again, we're not watching the whole thing. This is just going to be clips here and there. So I'm not entirely sure how much of this we're going to have in this video, but if you're interested in watching the whole thing, it will be on her channel probably, because she hasn't taken anything down. She doesn't seem to be a deleter, or she doesn't delete much. But I'm pretty sure she's backed up somewhere. She's probably got a Reddit she's got a Reddit. We'll just leave it at that. She's probably got a Reddit where people are backing shit up. I know she's got one other person who backs stuff up on them that you'll have to ask politely. Anyway, let us get into this. I'm going to turn her up, and we are going to speed her up. Start at 125, and then we'll up it from there. And we'll start here. So let's go.
Everybody.
Hi.
Let me see. Oh, wow. Hi. Hello. There's a lot of names in chat. I'm scrolling. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well, hello. Welcome back, Salma, to memberships.
Welcome.
Hey, I'm just going to read off everybody's name. Acknowledge everybody. I don't know if everybody's here right now, but hey, new name. Hannah, Nicotine, Nashi, Cam, Amanda, Salma.
You won't hear my name in here because I'm not a member. Hang on. She does have a transcript for this, so it'll make jumping around a little bit easier, so.
So, first and foremost, I just want to say I want to thank all my members that chose to.
This is interesting because she's going to talk about why during her hiatus she didn't turn off memberships. I didn't even really think about it because, again, I'm not a member of her channel, and it didn't dawn on me. I've heard people come from both sides on this. Some people were like, oh my god, I can't believe she didn't turn her memberships off. And I think I actually side with her on this one because you as the member have the ability to cancel your membership, and I'm not like, oh my god, you should just cancel your shit. My point is, you have control of the membership. It's not like you're locked in for, you know, a certain amount of time. I mean, obviously you pay for a month and you're stuck with it for a month, but you don't have to carry it month to month if you don't want to. So I side with her on that one because she did actually mention that she was going to leave, and it gave people enough notification to cancel their memberships. So even if she had just suddenly been like, bitches, I'm out, it still was enough for people to be like, okay, I'm going to cancel my membership. It wasn't like she just went dark like Amber does. So, sorry, my nose. If it had been a situation like that where she just like stopped making content but didn't say anything about it, I could side with her members on, like I could side with other people on that one because there was no warning. But she did put out a video saying I'm leaving, so it did warn everybody about that. Rosie did give her people notification that she was leaving, so if as members they decided to continue to pay, that's kind of on them, I feel. So anyway, I'm gonna let her continue talking.
To stay members even when I wasn't active. I got some troll messages about that, and I just wanted to state out the gate that I chose to not turn off my memberships on purpose. And so like people who like, because I get trolled constantly, so one of the things that they try to say is that like that's some kind of scam or something, when I did that for a specific purpose, because you're welcome to leave memberships at any time, but I wanted people to have the ability to maintain their streaks, because if I turn that off, then that's something that they wouldn't be able to do. And so there were people that wanted to stay on, and
I do think that's kind of a lame excuse, though. I wanted people to be able to maintain their streaks. I think if you drop your membership and then you come back, I think you pick your streak up from where it left off, because I've seen people, at least people on my memberships, they'll drop a membership and then they'll come back and it will say that they've rejoined, and I'm almost positive they rejoin at the level that they were at when they left. So if they'd been a member for like 3 months and they drop off, if they come back, I think they pick up at the 3-month mark and they continue to be a member from that point forward. So I don't think it affects their streak in that manner. If somebody wants to just, for whatever reason, needs that I've been a member of your channel for 12 years thing, I don't know why. But I guess I still think that's kind of a lame excuse. I feel like that was a lame explanation. I think just saying, hey, you have the ability to leave at any point. I gave you warning.
I want to let you guys know that like the weekend after I posted the I'm leaving YouTube video, I filmed an entire vlog that I haven't edited yet, of me and my mom going out and having a day out together and going to the crystal shop, and it was like a whole thing. So I have to watch back the footage and try to edit something, but I'm going to leave that as a members only exclusive vlog, just for something for you guys to watch, as a thank you. So but I just wanted to address that because the only people that complained were non-members, and it was very clear, like troll accounts. So people just like to try to instigate stuff. So I really don't take that seriously, because if anyone's upset about that, they're welcome to not be a member. So
I don't know. I think there was a better way to handle that, but at the same time, I get what she's saying. You know, you don't have to follow me if you don't want to. I mean, yeah, I get you, but you know, she's right. She is correct. I wanna see here. Hang on real fast. Okay, so next she's gonna talk about her escalating symptoms and her washing her hair. Rosie's like the rest of the girls, where she kind of collects symptoms and disabilities like Pokemon cards. And it's really hard to know exactly what is wrong with her, because she just every week has something new, and you can't really like, it's kind of like Schrodinger's disorder. You don't know, but at the same time, she constantly says, oh, this is wrong with me, oh, this is wrong with me, and then next week something's wrong with her, but yet she never goes to the doctor. So how she's getting diagnosed is anyone's guess. And she'll say she's got, it's kind of like the thyroid thing with Amber right now, or even with, someone pointed out to me, like Anna has Hashimoto's. Like Anna has Hashimoto's as far as I understand, but yet doesn't do anything for thyroid protocol, which I never had put that together, but someone pointed that out to me the other day in my Instagram. But yeah, somebody pointed out in my Instagram DMs that Anna doesn't do a thyroid protocol, even though she has Hashimoto's. I never realized that. And then, you know, I'm watching Graphically Alex talk about Amber and her thyroid diagnosis. I don't disbelieve it. But he's talking about, you know, what you have to do if you've got a thyroid diagnosis and, you know, seed oils and all that stuff. We'll never see that happen. But it's that kind of a thing. Like, we never see the girls do any of the things that they are supposed to be doing in order to treat the disorders that they claim that they have. Rosie's the same way. Rosie has this. Rosie has that. Rosie has something else. Okay, what are you doing to treat said disorders? Fuck all. Well, do you actually even have these things then? Did you just Dr. Google it? And then that was the end of it? Like, you didn't Dr. Google how to treat it? Because that's usually the next step most people do. You know, they Dr. Google and they're like, oh God, I'm dying. And then they look up what they're supposed to do to not die. And then that's the next annoying thing that they do. Oh, I can't eat yada, yada, yada because Google says. I mean, at least they're trying. These girls don't even try. So anyway, that's one thing you have to understand here going forward, because she's going to start listing off symptoms that are just like random shit. Like, she's going to talk about brain fog. Please list me something out there that doesn't include brain fog. Sunshine will give you brain fog. Air gives you brain fog. Grass will give you brain fog. Okay, seriously. Living is brain fog. The next person who tells me, oh, such and such gives me brain fog, I'm just going to be like, yeah, you're alive. Welcome to the world. Seriously, though. Brain fog should not even be a symptom. Anyhow.
That's okay. Oh yeah, Mango. Oh, I need to check. Need to check my email again.
I don't know why.
I've been having some
Sorry.
escalation in some of my symptoms, and my short-term memory has been like really scarily bad. Like last night, I was shampooing.
I'm sorry, the pause. And my short-term memory's been really like. That is bad. That's really bad short-term memory. Sorry. My short-term memory's been really like, you know, I've had those days. I will give you that. I've had those days. What was I saying?
My hair, and I was in the shower. So in the span of like 3 minutes or less, I could not remember if I had washed my hair twice.
And this is weird. So the solution to the problem is weird.
Or not. I literally was like, I have no fucking clue. No memory within the past like 2 minutes if that happened or not. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna not watch it just in case I did, because I genuinely, like, it was like a really freaky moment for me.
I can't remember if I shampooed my hair or not, so I'm just not going to shampoo my hair. Okay. Not the conclusion I would have drawn, but all right. Okay. I would have shampooed my hair, but I don't know why that strikes me so much. I'm just like, I can see. I mean, maybe. If I were in the shower, and I would have such a brain fart that I couldn't recall if I shampooed my hair or not. First off, I would be very concerned that I was having a stroke. No shit. Secondly, I would definitely shampoo my hair. Just in case. And thirdly, I would probably, after the shower, that would wrap up very quickly thereafter, maybe call a doctor. That seems to me like something that would just be like very scary for me. There's just certain things, if I had that hard of a brain fart, that I'd just be like, I need to talk to a professional. That's a little too hard of a fart, right? I don't know. Am I crazy? Would anybody else be a little frightened by that one? All right, we don't jump that far, but we jumped a little bit.
I have some positives that have come out of this break, but my depression's in a really bad place, and I don't know what to do about it because it's heavily motivated by how certain symptoms of mine have been progressing and making life really difficult to live. And sucks. So, not really much I can do about it, but, hey, Ashley. My parents are doing good. They're in Norway. We're figuring out some stuff. My parents might be coming back stateside sooner than expected, so we'll see. But, yeah.
I just want to talk about one thing about the depression thing real fast. I know a lot of people like, and God help me, I'm going to defend Amber. A lot of people like to come after Amber and I think Rosie sometimes because they don't act depressed. And I just want to point out that, like, there's no right way to be depressed. Like, you can appear happy and not be. So I just kind of want to defend people on that one, just because, like, too many people, I'm hearing it too much right now about people are like, oh, she doesn't seem depressed. And same thing with Rosie, like, oh, she doesn't seem depressed. You don't have to work hard to convince me that either of the two girls are depressed. Like, you don't have to work hard to convince me that Anna's depressed. Like, you really don't have to work hard to convince me that Anna's depressed. But, okay, do I think they play it up sometimes? Yes. Do I think they use it as a defense mechanism? Yes. Do I think they like to cry wolf a lot? Yes. So that's why I get so fucking irritated with them. Anyway. Alright, let's jump ahead a little bit further. Okay, I think she's going to talk about the car here for a hot minute. Like, literally, I think about a minute. And I want her to talk about the car. And I think she talks about her job a little bit.
Back into capacity, I am. Because, like, I still don't have a car and I don't have a way to, like, get one in the very near future. Cause
the car saga. Very briefly. For a very short amount of time before she got this job, she was doing DoorDash. She was delivering DoorDash, not ordering, which she also does, but I think she delivered DoorDash for, like, I don't know, a month maybe, and somehow managed to get hit while parked. I don't know. I think she was parked someplace where she wasn't supposed to be parked, and she got sideswiped or something by another car. So, first off, it's not entirely her fault that she got hit, but she probably shouldn't have been parked where she was parked, because that's probably why they don't want you parking there. Either way, it somehow totaled the vehicle. She showed photos of the aftermath of the accident. It didn't look great, but her car is effectively totaled. Anyway, so now she doesn't have a vehicle, and she's sharing the car with her brother, who works a full-time job. I think he's like an engineer or something crazy like that. Anyway, and there's a whole other story there as well. This house belongs to her brother, by the way. She'll tell you that she's assisting her brother by living with him. He lets her live with him. That is the actual story. Other way around. He doesn't need her. She needs him. But if you ask her, she's helping him out by living with him somehow. I think mom and dad make him let her live there. Anyway, that was my personal opinion on the matter. But that's why she doesn't have a car. At one point, she was trying to do DoorDash in the evenings, and she got hit while she was making a delivery. She wasn't in the car. She made the delivery, came back out, the car had been hit, and that was the end of the car. So, and she hasn't been able to get it replaced yet. So, there you go.
they're so expensive. And,
Really
I've been struggling, to even be able to work a full 40-hour work week with, like, all of my pain and, like, the issues that I have. Because I'm in a constant state of fight or flight for the past... It feels like it's been, like, three weeks with very little reprieve. Can barely sleep. And, I'm just...
The pain and the inability to sleep and her weird fight or flight syndrome that she's talking about, these are things that she's complained about since she started training for the job, right? She's not in training anymore. She's full on in the job now. She has never fully explained what the hell she's talking about. I don't know what she's talking about pain-wise. And I have had an internet friend who has MS try to explain this to me, and I get where he is coming from. He has MS. She does not. I don't know what's wrong with her. She never explains it. She never tries to explain it. She never comes up with an excuse for it. She's just like, oh, I have pain from sitting all day. As opposed to the jumping jacks you do normally, the 4 hours of yoga you normally are doing, like, what the fuck else are you doing? Like, I don't get it. So this is the part that I'm very confused about when she talks about the pain that the job causes her to be in. So there's that. The fight or flight thing, she has been talking about this since before she started taking calls. Like, if it has just been since she had started taking calls, I sort of understand it because I know she's in a call center. People are calling in. It's my understanding it's like a customer service thing. So people are calling in when they have an issue. I get that part. People are shitty and she has the shit end of the stick. I get that part. But she's been talking about this since she's been in training. So I don't know what the problem is, honestly, there. And the inability to sleep thing, she literally has been talking about insomnia since the first day. She has a video of herself getting ready for the first day of training. And she basically keeps herself up all night before the first day of training and basically does not sleep all night before the first day of training, and then trains and then naps and then basically stays up all night again for the second day of training. Like, I get she has insomnia, or apparently has insomnia, but she does absolutely nothing to mitigate it. She doesn't try to take anything. She doesn't try to, like, wind down. She doesn't talk about any kind of, like, relaxation rituals or anything like that. Nothing like a hot bath, more milk, meditating, you know, just chilling, sitting in a dark room, listening to music, nothing. As a matter of fact, she does all the things you're not supposed to do in order to get sleep. She sits up on her phone, she watches television, she eats a giant fucking meal, you know, she drinks caffeine. It's ridiculous. It's like she's purposefully trying to keep herself awake instead of trying to sleep. And then bitches about being tired. And it's like, yeah, you won't let yourself sleep. That's not insomnia. That's something else. I don't know what that is, but it's not insomnia. That's like refusing to let yourself sleep as opposed to not being able to fall asleep. But anyway, so these three things that she's complaining about right now, these are things that she's been doing since literally the first day of training. And I don't know what any of these things are. Again, the pain I don't get, because it's not like she's going to do something different if she's not sitting in front of the computer doing her job. If she's not sitting in front of the computer doing her job, she's literally sitting right now. She'll sit in the kitchen in front of her phone and do a live stream or watch television or sit on her computer and do whatever the fuck she does on her computer. She's not going to get up and go do something else, right? She might go sleep. Maybe that's different. But the fight or flight thing, again, I have no idea what she's talking about. I mean, I know what fight or flight is, obviously, but I don't know what she's talking about as far as what she means that she's going through it. And the insomnia thing, it really just seems like she won't sleep. Not that she can't, but that she won't. So that's something different, right? Anyway, if you want to tell me she has ADHD, I will 100% believe you. Just 100%. Has she been diagnosed? I have no fucking clue. No idea. Can't tell you.
I'm like, I try not to take Ativan every day, but recently it's just been really bad. And I've been having to rely on that a lot more just to, like, not be actively freaking out. And it's just really been a difficult time regarding my mental health. I have severe PTSD, and I have, if I remember correctly, it was deemed pretty severe MDD. I don't think it, like, the...
She talks about being diagnosed with PTSD a lot. And this, again, is another one of those Pokemon gotcha cards. Anyway.
PTSD was like, he was like, that's an extreme version. But I think
The PTSD was like the extreme version. Isn't that CPTSD? Don't they just add letters? I'm sorry. I'm very cynical when it comes to this. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm not trying to be insensitive. I know it comes off that way. I apologize.
I forgot the scale with MDD. Was it like moderate to heavy or something like that? I don't know. No, my mom went back to Norway. She's been gone for a while.
All right. She's not done talking about it.
It's okay, guys. It's just life. You know what I mean? Like, I try not to focus too much on it, and like, I don't want to use my mental health shit in a way that's like perceived as being weaponized. And that's why I try to be really careful to talk about like sometimes the severity of some of the things that I'm going through, because I don't want that to be, I guess, exploited. I'm trying to be better, because like when I was younger, I didn't give a shit about that. I freaked out all over the internet all the time, you know.
It's ironic that she says that because of how frequently she brings it up as a weapon and a shield. Rosie, like all of the other girls, with the exception of Anna and April Lauren, will constantly bring up her various mental diagnoses as a way of shielding herself from criticism and as a way of reflecting accountability and criticism back on the people throwing it at her, especially people like me, where she's like, oh, you're just attacking me, yada yada yada, something my PTSD, something my MDD. Well, the problem with doing that is when you start throwing that shit around, you don't understand that some of the people that you're throwing that back at tend to have the same, if not similar, issues. Nerfy really like gets up in Rosie and Amber's face about these things because Nerfy doesn't make videos so much anymore, but Nerfy is very open about her diagnoses as well, and I think it's a very positive way that Nerfy's very, very blunt. Let me make it very clear. Nerfy's very blunt. But I think Nerfy's very positively open about her own diagnoses and her own treatment and her own handling of that. And I think you will notice a stark difference between the way Nerfy discusses her treatments and her diagnoses and the way the girls talk about it. And I think you will notice the difference between someone who A, has been actually diagnosed, and B, who is actually gone through and is still going through treatment for the various things that the girls claim that they have. Nerfy has and is open about. And I think that's why when Rosie and Amber particularly try to throw things like the BPD and the PTSD and the CPTSD and the MDD, and they try to throw that shit back into certain reactors' faces. That's why certain reactors are just like, and? You know, because it doesn't work. Let me scroll a little bit. Okay, she's gonna vague post a little bit more about her health here, her mental health here, and she's also gonna vague post a little bit about certain communities on the internet, but you'll get the drift here in a second.
I'm upset. You're fine. You're totally fine. I'm just a little spacey right now. I'm really tired. I don't feel good. I get like super fucking nauseous randomly nowadays.
She was complaining about this before she left.
I don't know what's going on with me, and I don't want to talk about my health today, to be real.
Even though we've talked about it for almost 14 minutes at this point. She was talking about random nausea before she left anyway. That was a constant thing she was talking about during training as well. If all of these things really are wrong with her, I don't know why you wouldn't go to the doctor. Like, if all of these symptoms really are real, there is something very wrong. But, you know, that's me.
So I knew that if I didn't go live or do something to come back to YouTube, that I would just like might convince myself to stay in hyper isolation. And that's like kind of the downside of this break is I feel like I've pushed like everybody away in my life. Like I've pushed everyone away, and it was like kind of systematic and not on purpose at first. But I feel very like guarded and like I don't trust anybody, and so like I'm more comfortable literally being myself and talking on a camera to a live than I am to like interpersonal relationships. And that's like a problem for like between me and my therapist. And like I get that. But it's been a really big problem for me. And it's just really made things difficult. Yeah, mental health is just like a person's mental health experience and journey.
Sorry.
And it's such a personal thing. And one of the many reasons why I've like actually a good portion of this break was me also like systematically distancing myself away from a prior community that I don't want to engage in anymore, that I don't want to talk about on my lives. I don't want to get involved. I have made a lot of mistakes in that regard and like being wishy-washy with the boundaries. And so I've just like taken some time to shift my interests and get into other things and watch other people and other things outside of like specific like certain types of commentary that is just really mean and hateful in its core, regardless of like, you know, whether or not someone is a person who deserves it or not or anything like that. I'm over how that changes me as a person, like how that content makes me a meaner person, and I'm over how it makes me a more judgmental person. And when I spend so much of my free time watching something that I have a disdain towards instead of maybe watching things that I don't know make me laugh, I think that just has an effect on you as a person, and I don't think enough people talk about that. And so
I think, I'm almost positive she's talking about the reaction community, because she tried so hard to ingrain herself into it there at the beginning. And then when she wasn't making traction with the reaction community, she kind of tried to make her own little community, which is fine. I mean, everybody's got a Discord these days. I do not have a Discord. I borrow a Discord. So don't ask me for a Discord. I don't have one. But pretty much everybody's got a Discord these days because everybody wants to have their own little like community. I don't really see a point to reinventing the wheel when there's some perfectly good Discords out there that you could go join.
But distancing myself from, I am referencing Gorlwold. I want, like, after today, I don't want that word said on my stream. I don't want it in my chat.
Spoilers.
I want to talk about her. I definitely don't want to talk about, because I haven't paid attention to what's going on with the other one in months.
I'm pretty sure she means Amberlynn.
I do not care to know anything about what's going on with her. I'm just like, I just occasionally read like little brief updates and then I move on about my day. Because like,
why are you reading brief updates? There is no such thing as a brief update when it comes to Amberlynn. Maybe I should start doing brief updates. That might be fun. Just do like a brief. Ooh, I wonder if I could do like a Gorlwold news. I know Snowflake was doing something like that for a hot minute there. I can't use the acronym he was using because, well, we don't do that here in the States. We don't use that word here in the States. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, words that are not culturally acceptable within the United States. And I'm like, that's one of those words. Like, it's not necessarily like I couldn't say it. It's just like, it's not culturally acceptable to be said in polite society. Whereas if I were in, I don't know, Britain or apparently Australia, where you say it every other word, You know, I'm talking about the C word for those of you who are wondering. Like, I couldn't say that here. Like, I could not physically bring myself to say it, right? So that's just kind of like one of those things I was thinking about. But anyway, that would be kind of funny. I wonder if I could put together like a less than 3 minute segment of just like, kind of like Salty Sunday, where she just kind of recaps all of Amber's bullshit throughout the week. I wonder if I could do like a less than 3 minute segment. Damn it, brain. This is ADHD. This is ADHD.
You know, someone might write a thread on Twitter or something that still pops up because I put in more word blocks and stuff. Just because it's not even, I'm not even talking about like Amber or any person specifically. It's like the reactionary content around it. I'm over it. So I've been watching like a bunch of different commentary YouTubers. I really like this guy named.
Yeah, she's gonna go off into like something I don't know anything about. I don't know. Put your favorite feel-good commentary person down below. I might give them a watch. All right, I'm gonna scroll ahead a little bit because I think there's like one other thing I wanted to listen to here in this one. I might not. Give me a second. Okay, she's not done. Sorry.
That's what's up. Yeah, Tori, it just like I needed to get away from like all the constant little pics that happen with being like in my position online. Of like the DMs that I get, the texts that I get, the comments, the like constant engagement, the like comparisons. I just needed to be left alone, and that gave me some space to kind of like really evaluate and figure out what was bothering me enough to actually want to leave, if that makes sense. Like realizing just how problematic the majority of reactors are, and how there's like a common theme of when reactors going full-time, they devolve into like this different version of themselves that I wouldn't wish on them. There's a few names I can think of off of the top of my head that's happened to, and it's just like you can just see it affects you as a person.
I know she's talking about me. I know she's talking about me. It's okay. She's come this close to saying my name like 3 times. It's funny to me that she will flat out call Nerfy out by fucking name, but she won't do it to me. And I don't know why. It cracks my shit up. I don't know why. She will go after Nerfy like a rabid fucking dog. But she won't do it to me, and I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know why she feels so emboldened with Nerfy, but with me and other reaction channels. Like I've never heard her really mention anyone else's name either. I don't get it. So anyway.
And I'm saying that as someone who's been a part of it. I'm not saying that as like being judgmental toward it. So I'll just read a brief update here or there. I don't even know like the full details of what's like currently going on, because what's been happening to me recently is like over time with the way that I did it, I'm at the point now where I turn on a video about her and within 3 minutes I'm like, I'm actually really don't want to watch this, and then I leave.
To be fair, after about 3 minutes, you pretty much know what's going on. This is 2 weeks ago, so this is before all of the weird health shit. So this is during one of Amber's lulls, where she's just playing bingo and eating food and talking out her ass. Literally. So, all right. One more time, let me scroll ahead. Okay, I think, excuse me. I think we're going to start talking about the job a little bit here. I know this is a longer video, but it is what it is.
Hey, sweet Caroline. I have not quit the job yet, although...
Caroline.
So when my depression got to the worst of it, I didn't go to work for like 2 weeks. And they haven't fired me because they can't keep people.
This is why I'm impressed she still has a job, because it was my understanding, at least by what Rosie told us, is that she had like a 90-day probationary period where she could not miss a day for any reason. And she is still well within. Yeah, she's still well within that 90 days. So I don't know. I'm wondering if at the end of that 90 days they're just going to kick her and just be like, you fucked up. Goodbye. I don't know. So maybe she's just, for 90 days, they're just going to hang on to her. And then at the end of that, they're not going to continue to have her as an employee, and she just thinks she's bulletproof. I don't know.
That's how bad it is. And the stress of it has given me, like, anxiety rashes.
Anxiety rashes?
It's not fun. I'm not getting into how bad my mental health has been right now, simply because I don't want to trauma dump. So, yeah.
Hasn't stopped you in the past.
It's like the same. It's the same shit, but it's just like everything breaks. The company is corrupt as fuck. It's the.
She's been complaining about how corrupt the company is since like the first week of training. And again, this goes back to the video she makes with her mom trying to explain to her that the business isn't corrupt. It's just how the company, how the world works. I haven't heard or seen anything that I would particularly think is, oh wow, particularly egregious. But Rosie has been pretty good about not like info dumping on her company. So there is that. I will give her that. I don't think she's dropped enough information for us to put two and two together of who she works for. I'm sure somewhere someone has figured that out. I don't care and I don't want to know. But as far as like, she hasn't name dropped, she hasn't said who they are. I just know she works for basically a customer service call center, which could be anybody. She might even work for one of those companies that has multiple client kind of things, you know. But the point is like, I don't know what my point was. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. I hate it when that happens. I think we're having a very disjointed conversation about more reasons why she left the internet, and we're also vague posting again about people taking her stuff out of context, her posts and her videos out of context, which would be me, by the way. And then she kind of gets into more vague posting about the Discord because people in the chat are asking her these questions, and she wants to answer them, but she doesn't want to answer them, kind of a thing. Anyway.
I got a break from being poked and prodded. I got to just exist and reflect on me and take some time to just like zone out and like be completely detached from these vicious cycles in my life that were being like thrusted upon me that I didn't want, and I was able to just like fucking breathe. That was the best part of my break. I was left alone. Because I cannot guarantee that when I'm with you guys, and that sucks. That was like way more real than it was supposed to be. Sorry. That's true. That was the best part of my break. To know that I wasn't being perceived, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, people could still look at my pictures and they could rewatch my old videos and they perceived my content, but they couldn't perceive me. In a way. And I don't know why there's that distinction in my head, but I guess there is. But, yeah, it just, because it's like, I don't watch the content about me. The only time in recent history that wasn't true was, when that one, like, incident happened with the text messages, and I was, like, watching content about that and stuff.
I think the text messages she's talking about is when she DM'd Tommy and then shared the DMs between her and Amber. And I think the reason why she was watching that content is because she thought she was going to get a more positive reaction from the reaction community than she received. I think she was expecting for people to be like, oh my god, Rosie, you're so clever, ha 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 ha. And she didn't get that. She got a lot of people asking her why the fuck was she meddling and why was she trying to stir shit, and that was not the reaction she was expecting to get. And I think that's the moment where she got really pulled into the part of girl world she didn't want to be in. So I think that's why she acknowledges that that was the part she was watching, because she was responding to that. So we know she was watching that part because she was reacting to the reactions.
And then that just evolved. But like videos dedicated about me, I don't watch them. And but I do read my own comments. I do have people that DM me stuff.
Comments on her videos.
And then I also, of course, have people who get way too meddlesome in my life. So, yeah.
She has had, and I know this for a fact, she has had at least one person that I know of who has, in my opinion, really crossed the line as far as like sending stuff to her house. Rosie, I don't think Rosie hasn't shared her personal address. I think if anything, she's got a P.O. box, which most people, when they have most people when they have the ability for their viewers to send them things in the mail have a P.O. box. But this particular individual who I'm thinking of was sending things to her house. And he was either sending them to her house under her name or under her brother's name, which I personally think is crossing a line. I don't care if her house is technically public knowledge. It's still fucking weird. And I don't know. I particularly think I think it's weird. I think it's crossing a line. And I can understand why that would make her feel a certain way. And I don't understand why other people don't know why that would make someone feel weird. Having a P.O. box for people to send things to is a completely different thing than having people send things directly to your personal address. Like, that's just not cool. So I can understand why that would freak you the fuck out. So there's that.
I wanted to go 3 because I was kind of under the impression, because like I wanted to, like, regardless of any other potential opportunities that might have changed how I can be on my channel, I never say never, but I have no indication that anything's happening for me in that front, so that's making me have to really reevaluate. And it really brought on like this onset when it comes to my depression and stuff, this like onset of like hopelessness and stuff that I've been trying to figure out. And so I didn't react well. I think I know who it is, Subpar Bacon. I have pretty good evidence that was brought to my attention. And they don't know that I know. So.
What did I make us miss? Hang on, sorry. I don't know what we missed. I went back and checked.
Well, that's awesome, Krista. And that's the other thing. I just needed some time and distance post the whole Discord debacle. All of it. Just all of it. The drama, the back and forth, the fact that I had to, like, fucking fabricate evidence to try to suss them all out, and it ended up working. Like,
I do know a little bit about this. Apparently, Rosie claims that she made up a story about potentially getting back with one of her exes. This is the story, by the way. And anyways, she leaked it to her Discord, and something, this was the fake story, and something, whoever it was that leaked that was the mole in the Discord, and that's how she figured out who I don't know. It was a very complicated, overly complicated, and very suspiciously not true story. And then she just nuked the Discord. So, whatever. Needless to say, no one really believes this story is true. And, sure, Jan. But it makes her feel better, so sure.
Which is crazy. The fact that that ended up giving me some information. It's crazy that worked. And they can think it's embarrassing. The entire time I was doing it, I was like literally giggling and laughing. I was like, this is so fucking funny. This is so stupid. Like,
it was wild to think that that's... It's still wild to think that that's what she thought was the way to go. I don't know. I wouldn't have done it.
I was literally laughing the whole time. I was like, I'm gonna full send this shit because I was so sick of it. I was just sick of the way I was being treated and sick of like all the games that I didn't sign up to play.
So I made up a story that I was going to cheat with my ex on his current girlfriend with him, knowing that he's with someone right now. To the point where apparently his girlfriend at the time found out and was freaked out. It was a whole thing. A whole very stupid thing. Somebody covered it. Someone put all of it together. Who was it? I don't think it was Charlie. It was somebody else. Veronica Chronicles? No. I think someone else. Shoot. If somebody figures out who that is, put it down in the comments section and I'll pin it at the top because I don't recall. But somebody put the whole thing together. And it's a thing. It was dumb. It was very stupid. They do talk about Secret Squirrel real fast. we're not gonna listen to it because she basically says, I haven't heard from Secret Squirrel in a long time. And, what'd she say? I haven't heard from her in a long time, so I do want people to stop asking about her because it's not up to me where she chooses to watch her videos, and I don't know what happened. I did my part and I apologized about the fact that somebody else fucked with my moderators, and so unless she comes back to this chat, I don't have anything else to add, and I don't really want her name to be, she's an anonymous person on the internet. I don't want her name to keep coming up in the videos and stuff just because she didn't ask for it, Who set me the trolls? I was just tired and I didn't... Basically, when her... I'm going through the transcript. Basically, Secret Squirrel was like a super supporter of Rosie's and was sending her like very expensive gifts, not like over the top gifts, but very expensive gifts. Sending her very expensive gifts, giving her big super chats, giving her a lot of money there for a while. It's basically kind of subsidizing her. And then the whole thing happened in the Discord and the rogue mod kicked Secret Squirrel out. And we haven't heard from Secret Squirrel since. And Rosie tried to get Secret Squirrel back, but we haven't seen from Secret Squirrel in a long time. I don't know, maybe we will again. Who knows? I doubt it. We have our theories. But that's what's going on here. And Rosie has tried to apologize and all that, but can we really blame them? So that's what this is all about. Rosie wants her benefactor back. But that's that. So, in case you're wondering who she's talking about here, like, I don't want to say their name. It's Secret Squirrel. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have to watch her eat a little bit, and I apologize for that, but this is an important chunk that I want to listen to here because much like the girls, or at least like with Amber, I guess I should just say, much like with Amber, Rosie is going to go into her... I guess I should just keep saying much like Amber because this is where Rosie and Amber are so incredibly similar, where they both have to constantly be defending and justifying these diagnoses that everyone's always constantly calling into question. Rosie's going to tell us that she's been diagnosed over and over and over again, multiple times with the same disorders. And I find that strange myself. So I find it interesting that both her and Amber are constantly like, I've been diagnosed multiple times. Why? Why are you constantly being diagnosed? Like, I just find it odd. Anyway, I just want her to say it with her own mouth so you can hear it. Unfortunately, she is also eating. So apologies for that. But here we are. I mean, yes, let's go.
That's what I kind of want to do, but I don't know. It's scary to do that on the internet and talk about it and like document it because people are so vile. Like, I am diagnosed in the books by a psychologist, by a psychiatrist. Like, multiple psychiatrists.
And her waffling back and forth on that one kind of tells me, like, okay, but which one of them diagnosed you? One of them can do that. The other one can't.
I am diagnosed with MDD and PTSD, and people still question it because they really want the narrative of like an evil, nasty, fat, stupid loser to be the reason why they are the way they are instead of believing the medical reasons, you know?
As she says while she burps. I don't think it necessarily is an evil, nasty, fat, stupid loser thing. I think it's you say you have these things, but we don't see you doing anything to improve. I don't ever see Rosie doing any of that. I don't ever see Amber doing any of that. I don't think Amber's ever claimed to have... Maybe she has claimed to have PTSD. I think she has, actually. Has she claimed MDD? I don't know. I need to get my bingo card out. Anyhow, my point is the girls claim these things, but I never see them do anything to deal with it. And that's where people start going, it's not evil. I don't think there's... Rosie, of all of them, I've never seen her do anything evil. I wouldn't call her evil. Unlike certain other girls, like... Well, Foodie and Amber. Yeah. Yeah. They definitely fall in that category. Nasty, that depends on your definition of nasty. I don't like watching her eat. I don't like watching her cook. There are other aspects of Rosie that I don't particularly find hygienic. I'm not going to pretend like she's not fat. I don't think she's stupid. Even when I call Amber stupid, I don't necessarily think she's stupid. I just sometimes can't help it. Loser, again, that depends on your definition of what a loser is. We all have a varying definition of that. I don't know what she means by the rest of this. To be the reason why they are the way they are, instead of believing the medical reasons. When you say that sentence, to be the reason why they are the way they are, instead of believing the medical reasons, to me that sounds like you are literally saying, I have no intention of changing or improving myself. I'm going to use my medical reasons as an excuse to be the way that I am without ever trying to improve. You can always do better. You can always improve. All right? Is it harder? Yes. Does it suck? Yes. Are there days where you just want to lay in bed and cry? Yes. Right? Is this what it looks like when you give up? You know, it's just one of those things. Anyway. I think we're about done. I think we're about done with this one. Let me check the transcript one more time. I love the fact that there's a transcript on this one, by the way. Let me check the transcript a little bit more because I think we're pretty much done with this one, and then I will let you guys go. And I know this is a super long video. I hope it hasn't been too boring. I apologize if it is. And the next couple, I don't know if it'll be a couple, but the next couple videos won't be longer than about 45 minutes, an hour. But we'll go over the rest of her lives, and we'll do the same kind of thing. I'll just kind of go through the transcripts, chop them up as to what's important, I think. But I think we're going to wrap up here. But let me check real fast. All right, just for brevity's sake. Somebody asks her if she would go into a residential recovery treatment And she says, I would do that. I would quit my job and I would go and do that in a heartbeat, but those things cost like thousands of dollars. She mentions like Tammy Slayton did, sorry. And she would do that, but even the insurance assistance, even with insurance assistance, there's no way she could afford that with the co-pays. And she just doesn't think she could do that. And she doesn't feel like surgery is an option for her because it's scary and she has significant levels of mental health issues that would make it make her unable to have consistent checkups, and something about her being 33 and having depressive disorders, and I don't know what that has to do with her getting weight loss surgery. I don't know. I'm sure it has something. Again, never even considered it. I'm not a fan of surgery. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it if that's something you want to do. I personally am afraid of surgery. And then she calls Julian Michaels a sellout from Biggest Loser. I don't know. I don't care. Julian Michaels scares me. She's always scared me. She continues to scare me. Then she talks about going on Manjaro again, and because she was on some GLP-1 before and it didn't work, but she's already talking about why Manjaro won't work for her. So basically, any kind of weight loss suggestion that has been brought up by the chat won't work. Surgery won't work. Inpatient won't work. GLP-1s won't work. I don't know what the fuck she wants. I know she's on metformin, but that's because she is diabetic, or she's pre-diabetic at least. And that's it. But the metformin, she doesn't lose weight on it. And it could be why she's feeling nauseous, because she way the fuck overeats on the metformin. And just from personal experience, that metformin makes you sick if you overeat. So that's my personal experience on it. So there you go. But that's basically what happens from here on out. She has to mention that she doesn't have a bra on because that's what she does. She talks about being agoraphobic, and that's why she can't leave the house. And then she also mentions that she can't leave the house because her brother won't let her have the car. God forbid. It's his car, by the way, that he drives to go to his job that he goes to for 8 hours a day and then comes home. So, I can't imagine why he might need the car, his own vehicle. But so between her being agoraphobic and him not letting her borrow the car, she can't get out of the job or get out of the house. And then she basically complains about her job some more. Someone suggests her doing debt collection. And she says, no, that's horrible. She doesn't want to do that. She complains some more about reaction channels being judgmental and about people judging her because she's got PTSD and MDD, and reaction people are just horrible, horrible, nasty people who just don't understand, because apparently we don't have any of the problems she has, and more people donate money and she thanks them. And I think there's a little bit something more about Gorlwold here. I know that's the face. I'm sorry.
Oh, I realized, like, in the process of, like, removing myself more so from Gorlwold was, what did I read that reminded me? Oh, was that being a part of that community made me hate myself more. I used to have a completely different rhetoric in my head, but being a part of that community and watching what everybody was saying about somebody who's the same size as me has not been good for my mental health. Shocker. So I finally put that together, and I was like, oh, okay.
Are her and Amber the same size, really? I don't mean to be offensive, but Rosie actually looks bigger than Amber now. And Amber's clocking in around the low 500s. Rosie's got to be bigger than that, guys. I'm sorry. I don't have scale eyes, but she talks about her mom a little bit. So that's all we've got. And then she basically wraps up talking about what she's going to make to eat on the next stream, and basically says goodbye and something about the algorithm, and that's it. So, all right. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on this one. Hanging out with me. Wow, it's like we were on a live. Thank you guys for watching this really long video. I know I've been promising to do this. This is honestly why I've been waiting to do this, because I knew these were going to take forever because of these lives. So expect some more long form Rosie content coming from her lives. So I hope you guys like this format. If you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and put a pizza down in the comment section, because we made pizza bagels during this live. And let me know what you guys think down below. Did I miss something? Did I forget something? Did I get something wrong? It has been 2 months, and you know, there's been some gaps. If you remember who it was that put the whole Discord drama, or Rosie's Discord drama together, because I remember it was like one video, they had screenshots and everything. Let me know who that was, and I'll pin that comment, because I don't even remember where to start looking for that one again. But I will pin that above the this reaction, so people can find that. And it might have been Charlie, but I don't think it was. But anyway, I'll have Nerfy's videos in the description down below. And yeah, so your emoji's a pizza. Let me know what you guys think. Again, apologies for the length of this, but I hope you guys like it. We'll do the rest of her lives very similar to this, only hopefully we'll do more than one live per video, because I really did mean to just kind of do snippets. And I'm trying to think. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. And if you've stuck this one out, you might as well subscribe. And yeah, that's it. I will see everybody in the next one. Bye.
This is my outro music. You can't copyright strike me, because it's just me singing. This is my outro music. Thank you for watching. See you next time.